Well, hello, hello, hello. Here we are again. My name is MoMo Love, and I want to welcome you to Quarantine Talks as we talk coping with Corona. Hearing the voices of our community, many voices of the community, short chats. I was just thinking of ways that we can connect with one another to talk about how we might be dealing with what's going on with this pandemic, the novel coronavirus, COVID-19. And we're just all trying to figure it out, right? We keep hearing all kinds of information, all kinds of news. We don't know which way to go, mask up, reopen. What should we do? And I just thought that if I reached out to friends and family, members of the community, leaders in the community, business owners, that they too would be able to help us, be #along together. It's basically a mental physical check-in. I host a weekly radio talk show on Ablazing Radio, as well as the midday mix. We are in your midday reggae mix, and I see my guest, so I'm going to go ahead and bring him in, and hopefully more people will definitely come in. He is servant leader, mayor of District Heights. He is also, the mayor of the city of District Heights, the city commissioner for District Heights. He is the vice chair of Prince George's County Human Relations Commission. I would like to welcome the Honorable Jonathan Medlock. Can you turn your camera? There you are.
Let me do that. Oh, wonderful.
Good.
Hey, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Happy Tuesday.
Well, happy Tuesday to you as well. I'm going to have to prop this phone up a little different than I thought, so it's all good.
I'll give you a moment, no problem. I was just letting everybody know that I was thinking of ways that we can connect with one another as we are going through this novel coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. We're kind of going stir crazy. The walls are closing in. Just different ways that we, members in the community, friends, family, can just basically reach out to one another and say that we are not alone in this together, and possibly provide tips on how we're going to get through this thing. It's temporary, but it is ravaging our minds and our spirits, and basically a mental check-in. So I basically just wanted to know, and it's going to be a two-part conversation because, you dual, but basically, how are you?
Momo, I am doing well in this situation. I'm still thriving. I'm still moving, and I'm not afraid to live. So when I go out into the community and do the work, I'm suited and booted. I'm mask on, gloves, or what have you. But I can't stop serving. So to serve others is to serve myself, and to serve myself is to serve God. So I'm gracious and I'm happy. Things are moving forward. I do have times like everyone else and where I wonder what's next. But all in all, I'm just moving forward, unshaken. Probably need a haircut and a beard trim. But other than that, I'm working with what I got. And I'm taking it day by day in this particular journey, Momo. So I'm happy. I am. Yeah. I'm encouraged.
You look good. And it's taking a toll on us all. I say it's a two-part conversation because I'm going to talk to Johnathan Medlock, but then I'm also going to talk to the mayor, Johnathan Medlock, right? But so what were your first thoughts as Johnathan Medlock? Like, Lord have mercy. I mean, I don't know when you first heard about it, November of last year or this year, and when it actually hit in March and said, all right, that is it. We are shutting down. What were your first thoughts?
Well, my first thoughts were I was ready and prepared for this for years. If we're all paying attention to what's happening and what's going on in this particular world, we see the things that are happening and transpiring years ago. but we ignored it as if it couldn't affect us. But me, and especially the nationalist mind me, the organizer of me, planned and prepared my life and lock, stock, and barrel here in the house, and understanding and trying to get the word out to people that something's coming. What we are doing cannot last forever. There is a social bubble that was about to explode. There was something that was going to bring us all back to where we needed to be, and that's centered. So I was prepared in a sense for that, but almost like the prophet, Noah, trying to say, there's a storm coming, and no one's listening. For years, as an organizer, for 10 years, saying there's something coming and we have to prepare ourselves. But people were complacent, they were apathetic, and they were comfortable. And here we are.
Yeah. Well, we've heard for years that something's coming. The world is going to end. You got to be prepared. And a lot of times people don't know how to do that. I mean, you can tell right now, even people are stockpiling groceries that they don't need. What does it look like to be ready?
To be ready, let's start with mental preparedness first and foremost. Let's start with to be ready is to be ready internally, and not the provisions. Will end. And we can rely on provisions all day, but we have to look to each other to do the work. Because in this time of social distancing, the very thing we need is social connectiveness, and that's being taken away from us. So if we have the spirit or the understanding of the God that we have in us, that's what we got to get back to. We got to get back to the reality of who God is. One of the things my name Johnathan means is God has given. And one of the things I've been thinking about is God has given me the opportunity or the vantage point to see, to be able to be given the ability to see within and not without. So what that means is I see God here all day. I have a mirror behind me that's the reflection that I look at every single day. And it starts here. I am never alone, MoMo. But the journey starts within. We have to be comfortable with ourselves. We have to check off all the things that we've been told that we are or are not, and have that true comfort. So hopefully in me, you see peace. You see peace, and you see the light and glow of God, because that is what resides in me, period. This is no politician. I may lose some brownie points from certain people, but it's okay, because this is the point in time that we have to speak truth, and we have to speak it unapologetically. Yeah. And this is where I am. I am Medlock first. Everything else is a distant second.
And that's why I said we're going to have two conversations, because, you got to have the real side. You are a human being. You bleed, you hurt, you feel pain. And so when this pandemic came about, I mean, you got to be real with yourself on how you were feeling, what you were thinking, and how you're going to deal. We got families out here that many families are not used to being with each other all day. They don't know what to do. We're walking in circles. How's your family doing?
My family's doing well. I checked on my sister, my father. They're all well. I gave them, what to do, to stay safe and do what's necessary. But they're all doing well. Of course, we all know somebody that's been touched by COVID-19. We know somebody that's been affected, some family. We even know people who've lost their lives with this. And that's where my heart goes and bleeds for. I know my life is finite, but it's just when other people are going through it and suffering, it brings suffering to me, because that is my charge is to protect and to war. That is my calling. So when those who I can't protect are hurting, it definitely makes life a little harder. So I do still be very clear. I go through my seasons, my daily seasons of going into that melancholy feeling. We could even call it depression. But I go through it and I work through it. And one of the biggest things, MoMo, that I do is to get myself out of this is to have self-motion. Is to say, yes, despite this is going on, what are you going to do about it? Yeah. And how are you going to approach this situation correctly? And I get my butt up. It is hard, but I get moving,
And thinking about how hard and difficult it is for us as adults the seasons that we go through, depression, sadness, trying to figure out how we're going to pay our bills and all kinds of things. I think about the children. I know that children hold a very, very special place in your heart. You know, what are you telling the children that might come up to you, maybe in fear, or even some parents who still to this day haven't been able to really effectively explain to their children what's going on? What's the best thing that we should talk to our children about?
Yeah, one of the things, I still have a lot of mentees that I mentor even in this time, and they don't come to me with the fear of what's happening. They come to me with just wanting to be talked to, just wanting to somebody to say, you know what, whatever we're going through, it's going to be okay. What do you need? What's going on in your household? How do you feel now? You know, talking to them, telling them stories, you know, just listening to their needs, because they are afraid. They need true leadership. They need to know that we are okay. And sometimes we have to put on a happy face. Yes. So our babies can understand that, okay, I see in them that it's okay. Because if you show fear, then fear will abound, right? Then it will be fear for everybody. So sometimes somebody has to be strong. And when I'm talking to my babies, I just, you know, ask God for that strength to be strong for others and for my babies all around me. Because they still expect, they don't know what's going on. You know, we can kind of rationalize this to a degree, but their 19 and 20, 21-year-old minds or babies who are 13 and 14, they still can't understand why I can't go, why I can't be with my friends, why I can't do these things that were normal in their mind, in their finite, small life. And we have to kind of explain it to the best way we can so they can understand that we're here, and that's all they need to see is that we're here and we're available. Yeah.
You know, you are a servant in the community, a leader in the community, mayor, commissioner, part of the human resources team in Prince George's County. You do so much, and I can feel your passion when I've been in person with you and through this mini chat. And, you know, I'm just wondering, you know, the thought process is different when you have to put on your honorable hat, right? You have to, like you say, put on that face. You have to present that strong front. What is the most important thing for your constituents to understand or to know about this deadly, silent, invisible, nasty disease called COVID-19?
Oh, one of the things that my seniors are mostly, they're afraid. They are not leaving the homes. So when they're not leaving the homes, I have to go to their homes. I give them a call and let them know, knock on their door saying, I'm going to leave you a mask, leave some food in this area. I'm going to make sure you have the resource that you need. And they'll probably open the door for a little minute and talk to me. And I reassure them that everything's going to be okay. I give them that reassuring smile. And we got to understand, too, that the simple things that we do are powerful. Yeah. Rosa Parks set on a bus. So we don't have to do great things to have great impact, right? So just providing someone with a smile and comfort, saying, yes, I don't have all the answers, but I tell you one thing, that at the end of the day, once we are taking care of each other, once we are assuring that we're okay, it's going to be okay. Yeah. But we are our brothers and sisters keepers. That is the most paramount thing that I have to tell my residents, that I am in a position where I have resources. If I don't have them, we're going to get them. I just, in the last 2 days, matter of fact, it was May 6th, secured for my city $365,000 in COVID relief for our city that I've been fighting for, and me and other mayors throughout the municipalities in Prince George's County, the 27 municipalities that we have. There was $15 million allotted. We got 365, and we're going to get $1 million more if I have something to do with it. And those, thank you so much. But those things, those are for the city. It's nothing that I did. It's something that I did that I have to do. And so as a legislator, I have to, make sure my residents are taken care of. And one thing I can say now, I will make sure that every single resident, especially all my seniors, have a mask, gloves, and all the essential PPE that they need. And when I'm talking about 5,000 to 7,000 people, I'm going to make sure that is my push moving forward. So we have a long haul, and with that long haul, I'm going to be proactive and not reactive, because I know it's coming, and probably in the fall, a resurgence of this, and I'm going to be on the other end of this, ready to serve.
Yeah, and we have to be extra careful. It's allergy, hay fever.
Oh my God.
Season. We should have been taking our medication in April. It's just one more thing that we have to really stay on top of. As well as the other upper respiratory issues, the COPD, the diabetes, the heart disease, all of these things. We're doing a lot of giving away to the community, which is wonderful. But Mayor Medlock, one of the things that kind of really hurts my heart is that we're standing out in these lines, getting free crab cakes, not practicing social distancing. What can you say to community leaders? Because I know when District Heights was doing it, people were staying in their cars.
Yeah.
You had your mask on and you were passing things through the windows. And I love the community give back. I want the community give back to continue. But how can we be safe?
Absolutely. We have to be unselfish. This is not, work as usual. Things have changed. There has been a paradigm shift, and we have to move and pivot with the times. And if we want to protect ourselves and protect our citizens, our residents, we have to do what's right. We have to figure out better ways to keep those community members safe. One of the things I saw in that community give back that we had is I had seniors out. They were out, my 70s and 80 somethings, driving their cars, coming in to getting meals and masks and personal hygiene items for themselves. And a lot of that, to be very honest, MoMo, was the need to connect. Okay. They wanted to be seen. They wanted to be seen, touched, and acknowledged. It wasn't about the food. Okay. It was about the camaraderie. It was about the give back. Okay. So they wanted to be seen. So let's do that. Let's have our people come out, but let's protect them as we go. Yeah. And for all community leaders, we have to really be consciously aware of how we act and interact these days. Let's be. It's not about show. It's about doing the work and doing it properly. So for all community members that are watching and do understand what community organizing really means, we need to organize based on the times and based on what's needed at that particular point in time. Yeah. So we have to be mindful. Put your mask on. Wear your gloves when you have to. Let people see your face and let them be seen and give them a word of encouragement. Food is okay, but the nourishment of the soul, MoMo, it is something else that can sustain us for a very long time, right? Because everything's going to be fine. We talk about food shortages, and I heard that there was going to be a meat shortage and the whole nine. Well, let's go vegetarian.
Yeah, how about that?
Let's go back to eating manna. Okay, let's do what we need to do. But we're strong people.
Started now.
Okay, let's get our garden started. And if you plant turnips, I'll plant collards. Okay, if you plant carrots, I'll plant some asparagus or whatever the situation may be. And we got to get back to that sense of community and bartering, because when the money goes. When things change, who do we have? I got you, my God. Yeah. That's another thing. Really quick, I call you my goddess, and you are. But I'm your king or your God. But we say it just so loosely. Yeah. But in this time, we have to say it and mean it. We are true and living gods. Yeah. I look to you. And I look to anybody who's watching. I look to you to be our saviors. I look for you to join us. As we sojourn and go through this journey together. This is what must be done. This is the time of what must be done. There's no other time like it. We have to stop playing. Playtime is absolutely over. Absolutely over. Absolutely over. And speaking of playtime, I don't play when I go outside, but I'm asking you, Johnathan, as Johnathan, right? Okay. The whole masking up and gloving up, is it a drama? Is it drama? Is it a movie for you, or you go with it? You know what? Masking up and doing what? It's more so a mental feel good. I think, it protects us, yes, and we don't know where this thing is coming from and how it started, and we're putting on our gloves and we're protecting ourselves to the best of our ability, and we're doing what is normal for everybody to do. Because trust and believe, if you don't wear your mask, there are maskers and there's non-maskers. You will be judged accordingly. You understand? And as a, it's just not even as a leader, but as a leader, I have to do it anyway, because I can't not wear one and tell people to put their mask on. You know what I'm saying? So we have to show our community that we're doing the right thing, and that at least from the optics perspective, we are being mindful and we're being protected. We have made it through so much, MoMo, our nation. When I call our nation of people, our Black people here in this country and throughout the world, we've made it through so much, and this will not take us out.
No.
We as much as we have, the fear sometimes can grip us, but the facts and the reality is we've gone through so much more. But the only thing that's going to bring us through is our collective will to live and our collective will to do. So, sister, I am looking to you. I am looking to you to be my savior as I am yours. And I would never leave you. I would always do exactly what I should do for and with you. And I'm asking the same from everybody who is watching this. Yes, lead by example. Be the God you want to see. That you want to hear from.
All the time. And this is exactly one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you. And through this forum, I was just sitting around thinking one day, I know I'm going through some things. The walls are closing in. Yeah. You get misinformation, information. The local dumpster is telling us to inject disinfectant. They're walking around without masks on. You look to your leaders, as you said, to give you guidance. And I was just wondering, how can we help one another get through this? So I wanted to have these quarantine talks, on how we cope with corona, many voices of community. May is mental health awareness. Yes. And with this 24/7 news cycle, information, misinformation, again, we can't be fearful. We have to know the facts and we have to stay on top of it. You talked about being centered. What do you do to stay centered? Because you're here as a politician, you're here as a man. What do you do to stay centered?
Absolutely. One of the things I just started last week, my sister from Ghana said she was going to run 5 miles a day until June 17th, and she needed my help and support in doing that.
Okay.
And I say less.
Wow.
So with that being said, she started on Tuesday. She said she already get her 5 miles done. I got my lazy butt up, self-motion, and I got my 5 miles done.
Wow.
That night. I finished about 12:30, but I started late and I got it done. So from Tuesday until Saturday, I did 25 miles.
Ooh.
I pushed myself out my comfort zone, and I did it not for myself, but it's for me too. But I did it because I made a promise.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to start doing. We have to start holding each other accountable to one another.
Yeah.
Because if you ask for something from me, MoMo, and I say yes, you have to believe it's true.
Yes.
And I can't lie to myself, and it's not thy own self be true thing.
Yeah.
If I say I'm going to do a thing, and I got to get out here after this phone call and hit the streets and get these 5 miles in. So by the end of this journey, we'll have run 150 miles. And imagine what that does to my mental health.
Right.
Imagine what that does to increasing these endorphins in my body and to allow my mind to think and my mind to be free. And my sister called me a few weeks ago and said, I want you to go on a raw vegan diet for a month. Do it. And I said, yes, ma'am. Because that is what's needed. So I went, Dr. Ruby Lathan was one of my healthy living chefs, and she started preparing my raw vegan meals. And that's what I started doing. They were delivered to me, cleaning my body, working out, and really meditating on what's next, and not wallowing in what's now.
Yeah.
It's being projected.
You know, Jonathan, the mind, the body, the soul, it all connects. If one of it is not feeling good, none of it is feeling good. So I am so happy for you that you are taking on these challenges, because like you said, when you come out on the other side, it's not going to be anything but best for you, a better Jonathan for yourself and for the district that you serve. I was going to ask you about that because, I don't do too much walking. I'm not that much. I'm not really an active
You're a buck 05.
No, exactly. But what I love is that, during this time, people are being so creative, and the exercise, that great way to get that energy out, eating healthy, eating clean.
Yes.
Tell me what your creative juices are flowing like now.
Oh my God! I have high energy, right? I always had a high energy, high drive, and just my mind is constantly going. It never shuts off, right? People used to say to me, "Just turn it off and relax." And I said, if it was that easy, I would have done it.
Right.
It doesn't happen that easily. But I've learned to deal with it. I've learned to use it to my effect. So those late nights when I'm up at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm preparing for the next day. I'm preparing for the next day, because what else am I going to do but to prepare it and do what's necessary. One of the things I want people to start doing, MoMo, is stop going from that critical thinking mode to critical doing.
Oh.
We think critically, but we don't do anything about the thoughts that we have. I'm a Pisces, so I'm a dreamer. And I learned a long time ago, it's good to dream, but wake up. Because your dreams are waiting on you, right? Uh-huh. They're waiting on you to execute it. So those are the things when I'm up at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. It is awake dreams, but I'm getting ready to execute, right? Uh-huh. So it's always keeping a space of finding the good in everything. I look for the good.
Okay.
Amongst everything that's happening, I try to find what's good about my life and what is working, and I build on that work.
Oh my! That's difficult. It's difficult right now with the walls closing in and people trying to figure out what they're going to do. We always talk about saying daily affirmations to ourselves. Yeah. Jonathan, it's so easy to say what we're not doing. We don't have. We wish we did. What can you suggest to the folks out there just to encourage themselves to see the God that's in themselves?
Oh my God. Oh, we have to, I think that is a very interesting question, because people are so used to seeing God outside themselves, right? But once we turn inward, once we turn our eyes into our soul and begin to understand that God resided in us from the beginning, and once we recognize God, when I look in the mirror, like I said, I see God. And this is how I can look at you and I see God. I look at people who look like me and I see God. And this is how I'm able to do the work. But it takes shaking off all those things we've been told in the past, all the things that we've been living. We got to say those things haven't worked for us. Yeah. It hasn't worked for me. So I chose to pivot and change and find out what works for me. And understand who God is for me. It is my God. Do we say that? It is my God. And your God is your God. Mm-hmm. Let's reside in that. Let's find that.
Personal relationship.
It is personal, but we can't, it's not, we say personal relationships and we say blessed and highly, all these things that really are words, but not in deeds. Okay. We don't believe it. Mm-hmm. We say it. It makes us feel good and feel good around and for other people so they can think we are a part of the mold. Break the mold. Separate. Mm-hmm. In this level of separation, I am grounded in who I am. I cannot be shaken by anything or anybody. And this is what makes me the most dangerous man in the world, because I can't be bought, stole, or anything else.
Would you say that's unapologetically black?
Unapologetic. What? Unapologetic. And I love it. And I'm the most free as I've ever been in my life. Yeah. When I changed my perspective, I changed my life.
Okay, changing your perspective. Because I was asking, what did it get to take to that? Your perspective.
It takes being tired too. Okay. It's being tired of going through the same thing and getting the same results. It is being tired of being told, be faithful and wait. And me saying, No, I've been faithful long enough. I've waited long enough. Let's try something else. And in that, in trying something else and doing something else and loving someone else, I found true freedom. So I'm telling you, shake off all the things that we've been taught. As a child, I thought as a child.
Yeah.
Right? But as a man, it is my destiny to take up the mantle and do the work. I create life, and this is what it is. It's the total creation of life daily. My resurrection is every single day I wake up. What are you going to do with the life you've been given? What are you going to do? The gifts can be taken, given, and taken.
Yes.
You have a gift of life every single day, Momo. Every single day. What are you going to do with it? Is the question. Move. Yes.
I love it. Do you organize your day? Do you go out to the office, or are you doing?
No, I go to the office. One of the things I did from the beginning, and I make sure this happens at least 3 times a week. I have my building disinfected. Bleach disinfected because I do have a small number of staff that's coming in to keep the city moving. I have my public works, of course, my police officers are there doing the work, and I want to make sure they're safe. When they walk in that building, I want that to be the safest place they could be. Yeah. So I have these buildings, sanitized. There's a little gym that I sometimes go in that, when no one's there. I have a track in District Heights. So if anybody want to come out, there's a track that we can walk. You can have social distancing. It's in the cut. It's a special place.
And come out and walk. Drive?
Yes, it's on 2000 Marbury Drive, District Heights. And we have plenty of space that we can do the work. If someone wants to come out with me, I'm every day. 5 days a week, I'm out here doing something. If anybody wants to join me, come on out. Come on out and join me, and we will do the work together. And I'll support you. You'll support me. So we have that option. And, it's just come on out.
2 more questions, because I know you got to get going. The children have suffered because of the 2020. They haven't been able to graduate, The middle schoolers, high schoolers, college. Our forever President and First Lady Barack and Michelle Obama are hosting a virtual graduation prom party June 6th. And I was just wondering if Prince George's County or maybe District Heights will be doing something like that, or maybe thinking of doing something like that for the graduating class of 2020.
Absolutely, it's already in the mix. I think we have a star-studded affair will be happening in Prince George's County. I can't think of all the people that will be coming out, but it's the star-studded affair. It's going to be a virtual graduation for our seniors. It's going to be a pretty big affair. We've already planned on the 2021, whenever we come out of this and able to come together more. There's going to be a live celebration for our babies too. So they won't miss out. They'll get the virtual one first, and they'll get the physical one when it's time to do the work. So we've already been putting things aside, building, and ready to go when that happens. So yes, I don't have the link now, but I saw the information come out a few days ago. So it's going to be very nice.
Well, you make sure you share with me. I will definitely get that information out and promote it as much as I can. The days are starting to run together. Can you recommend any good books or music that people can also use to help them mentally just vibrate higher and think of positive things?
Absolutely. One of the books I love reading over and over, is such a dense book, and I read all the time. It's called The Blueprint for Black Power. And why this is important is Dr. Amos Wilson book, and it talks about how we organize in order to build the nation that we see and the nation that we know we could have. So The Blueprint for Black Power is a very, very powerful book. He speaks from the point of psychology and how the psychology works to build nationhood, right? Being on one accord and understanding what we have to do as a nation. We are a nation already. We have to know this within a nation, but we have not acted as such. So once we begin to act like such, we could definitely begin to move that and become more symbiotic in our relationship. And if I can say, there's one thing that needs to be seen now too. There's a rate of violence domestic violence that's happening as couples are coming together and never been in this mode for this long of time. And just, we have substance abuse and things that are happening in the homes that we need to talk about. So those things are happening. We're definitely aware of it. I let my officers know when they have cases like this, report it to me so we can do things about it and make sure that the residents who are dealing with that get the proper resources needed. So that's very important. There's so many things on the rise. The last thing too concerning mental health, and I want to talk about this more at another time, but there is something, I'm from the South, so I used to walk barefoot all the time, right?
We're from the South.
From the dirty South, you understand, the Savannah. So we just have, what we have is something called grounding. I go outside, and I'm going to start this about tomorrow, and I take my shoes off, and I walk on the earth, and I ground myself to the earth as a flower, as a tree, as anything else. And I get the vibration from the earth, and I begin to feel the earth work through me. So, because what we've done, we've neutralized ourselves by putting on shoes and things to protect us from the earth, and we're losing what nature will give us. So I encourage everyone to ground themselves sometime and just stand there and be present in the earth and let that nutrients and that vitamins and that raw energy run through us. And that also helps with our mental health. That also helps because we become a part of this great earth, because this is where we came from. Both spirit and from this earth. We are hue, the color. We are man. We are God. We are both. We are that duality. So become a part of that earth. Real talk. That stuff helps. If you see it and hear it in me, and I say I'm doing it, trust me in it. If it looks like I'm doing it, if you hear that it's working, please try it. Just do it. You have nothing to lose.
Every time I talk to you, I just get such an energy, such a readiness, such a get up and go. And I love that in a leader. I love that in a friend. I love that in the God that I see in you. Thank you for all that you do. One last thing I do want to say, voter registration, why is it important?
Oh, God. It's extremely important because, for one, let's do the census. If you haven't put out your census information, please do that. Once you fill out the census, it allocates federal funding that comes to our cities, states, counties, and help us get the resources, build the infrastructure, have the social programming, that comes to our cities and our counties. If we don't do it, we're undercounted and we get less funds, but having more people, the resources again are stretched. It takes literally 7 minutes to do the census on the line electronically. Not hard, it's not invasive, very basic information. I implore everybody to please do your census. We'll send out the link to that. It's very, very simple, so let's do that. Also, a shameless plug, but I'm a delegate to the National Convention. I was chosen thank you so much, by the Democratic National Convention to be a delegate on the ballot. So I'm on the presidential ballot. So flip that thing over, you'll see Johnathan Medlock. That is me. There's 25. I made it out of hundreds who applied, but because of the work, praise God, that has been done throughout the community, I made the cut. So when you see my name, I will be a representative to the Democratic National Convention. I will be there to support our candidate, Joe Biden. And as a delegate, it is one of the biggest and largest events of any political. Any time you go for anything political, it's the top of the line. It'll be held in Wisconsin if we still have it. But if not, the importance of it is, out of everybody in Maryland, and we're talking about District 4, which is my Congressman Anthony Brown, I made the cut. So I'm on the ballot, and we'll work on behalf, of doing that. So look for my name. So everybody who sees my name, look for it, write my name. You have 5 people. You have 5 people to choose from. Also, July 13th is an election for me here in District Heights. It was supposed to be May 4th. It's been pushed back because of everything that's happening. July 13th will be that's a Monday, the election for my seat here in District Heights. Please, if you know anyone in District Heights, come out and vote. for me to continue to be the mayor here in the city of District Heights and to work for the people at this level of legislation.
Johnathan, are they coming out or are they mailing in their ballots? And if they are mailing in their ballots, when do they have to be there by?
Absolutely. Great question. We pushed it back. There's going to be absentee ballots. There's going to be mail-in. We're working on the mail-in process now because it's extremely costly for everybody to get the ballot and bring it back in. And we will have, for that day that anybody can come out, depends on how things are, certain people can come out and with social distancing and cast their ballots personally. Okay. But we're going to, the mass majority, it's called no excuses absentee. All right. No excuses. But when you do it, no excuses. So what will happen before you have a reason to send in your absentee ballot, where I'm out of town or disabled or whatever. Now it's like, you know what, all that is gone. Here's send in your absentee ballot. Let's go. Just vote. Let's go. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible.
Now, we talked about the census. We talked about your upcoming voting, and we didn't really get on voter registration because with Ahmaud Arbery and